From unsolved mysteries to unexplained phenomena, from comedy gold to relationship fails, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Because the only thing that should interrupt your listening is, well, nothing. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Good afternoon. It's September 9th, 2025. Happens to be a Tuesday, headed to a Braves game here in a little bit. These are the four things you need to know this afternoon before I go watch the Braves. Please win. Inflation last year, according to the Census Bureau, wiped out all wage growth for all Americans except the highest income earners. I want you to think about this for a minute because over the last year, it wasn't just Democrats, but it was reporters, news anchors, and pundits insisting that actually the economy was doing better than the people said it was doing. Numerous news outlets blamed conservative media like Fox News for undermining the economic message of Joe Biden because the data showed that actually the economy was doing well. Well, the data has now been revised downward by 911,000 jobs, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which raises all sorts of questions about the data collection there. Separately, the Census Bureau is now saying that, in fact, inflation was so bad last year, it wiped out all wage gains for all Americans except the upper income earners, those making more than $250,000 a year or more. So not only were there fewer jobs created last year, but American wage gains were wiped out by the cost of goods going up, yet the media lectured Americans that the data showed Americans did not know what they were talking about. In fact, it was Americans who knew what they were talking about and the reporters who didn't know. Maybe reporters should get a clue. Maybe trust the American people. A Michigan judge has dismissed all criminal charges against fake electors from 2020, claiming Donald Trump had been elected and they were the alternate electoral college path. Now, this is actually a big deal because La Resistance has been focused on persecuting or prosecuting those people who claimed that they were electors for Donald Trump in 2020. It's a somewhat nuanced decision from the judge, but this is a Democrat judge, not a Republican judge, who's dismissing the case in large part because each slate of electors for the Republicans or Democrats are allowed to form electors. The parties nominate people to be members of the Electoral College, and based on the vote in a state, those people are picked. So if the Democrats win the state, their slate of electors is picked. The other people aren't fake electors. They're just the alternate electors for the team that didn't win. There really should have never been a prosecution in the case. The same reasoning, more likely than not, will apply in Nevada, where Democrats there are prosecuting quote-unquote fake Trump electors. It looks like their case will probably be undermined as well. Can we finally put 2020 behind us? And by the way, there's a warning here. In a number of states, including my own in Georgia, the Republicans internally are fighting each other so much still over 2020. The ramifications, was it stolen? Was it not stolen? If it was stolen, how was it stolen? They're not paying attention to Democratic advances. The downside for Republicans of the 2020 election is no longer that Donald Trump lost it. It's that internally the Republican Party is still so divided that it can't advance candidates or a game plan to stop Democratic advances in states like Georgia, where the Republican Party is so busy dealing with lawsuits and litigation, it can't actually put points on the board to stop a Democratic takeover of the state. Up next, Israel issued a sweeping evacuation order for Gaza City, signaling its intent to invade the area. Now, you should know this is Gaza City, not Gaza. Gaza City is a municipality within the landmass known as Gaza. Progressives are claiming that this Israeli evacuation order for Gaza City applies to Gaza, the landmass. It does not. It's blatant misrepresentation, as progressives are also accusing Israel of genocide. What it does suggest is Israel is about to invade Gaza City, and they have American support. We saw this morning the dazzling attack in Doha, Qatar, that was blessed by the American military. Interestingly enough, Benjamin Netanyahu and Israel Katz, the defense minister in Israel, have come out to say this was only Israel. We were the only ones involved. No one else had anything to do with it. They're not saying the United States by name, but they're trying to convey that the United States gave them no coordination whatsoever on that attack. The United States is not giving Israel a coordination or help on the invasion of Gaza City either. What we are giving them, however, is our blessing to do it. Hamas, Israel believes, has been holding hostages still in Gaza City. Again, it's worth noting, if Hamas released the hostages and laid down their arms, this war would end tomorrow. Instead, the left would rather accuse Israel of genocide than recognize the monsters that are Hamas. Finally, and no surprise to anyone, Cracker Barrel has decided not just to scrap its new logo, but to scrap its entire rebranding and remodeling strategy after both the concerns from the public that were bipartisan and criticism from the company's founders. The Democratic National Committee's Twitter account a few weeks ago tweeted, "We also don't like the new logo." Many people were vocal about the sterile changes within Cracker Barrel as well that kind of devalued the brand and what it was. The ownership is now trying to chase a suburban clientele that may not like the knickknacks in the store, among other things. But the public outrage from people, many of whom don't even go to Cracker Barrel anymore, decided that, well, they should scrap the remodeling campaign. If I could just give one word of advice to Cracker Barrel, focus on the basics, the food. It's not good anymore. My family were regulars to Cracker Barrel until about a year and a half ago, when we realized there was a decline in the quality of the food and the menu changes. It's not the restaurant that's the problem. It's the product at the restaurant that's the problem. But the CEO has decided to avoid the elephant in the room of the food quality not being as good anymore and do a repackage of the brand, which undermines its value and the loyalty of people who still go. It never made any sense. The other thing Cracker Barrel should probably do at this point is get rid of the CEO who decided to fix the wrong thing. Those are the 4 things you need to know this afternoon before you get home from work. You'll be smarter than the rest of your friends by the time you get there. I'm Erick Erickson, and yes, decided I'm just going to keep winging it with these. I've got a teleprompter that reminds me the 4 things I wanted to tell you about, and then I'll actually tell you what I think about them without having to read off the teleprompter. Yeah, maybe that'll make me a bad news guy, but you know what? It'll make you more informed. I'm Erick Erickson. Please stay informed, stay engaged, and above all else, please keep the faith.